members to join the board that we're going to vote on at the end. So please stick around. It's going to be very exciting. We also have the senior panel. It's a really fantastic opportunity to hear from seniors. Quick, short, funny story. I took my 12-year-old to the park to play with her volleyball team. And there was a group of teens playing at the volleyball net. And I walk up to them and said, hey, can these girls play? And they're like, well, we're not very good. They were laughing and joking. And after chatting with them, the girls were playing against them. And it turns out it was a bunch of IA seniors who had just finished their IB exams and were burning off some steam at the park. And then what a great group of kids. They played with these 12 and 13-year-olds, some volleyball. About an hour and a half they played, and they won a few. So it was really great to see them all have some fun and be done with those IB exams. I had a chance to chat with them about it. That's what senior panel is about tonight. Senior panel is about what would they have done differently? What would they think about doing in the future if you were incoming? So freshman, sophomore, even junior parents, pay attention to that. We're going to get started right now because we've got a good group already going. Dr. Smith, are you ready for the Dr. Smith's report?
Sure thing. Thank you. First, I just want to say congratulations to the seniors. I think most of the panel is now probably done with their IB exams as of this morning. So that's a huge feat, as everyone knows. So congratulations to them, and I'm looking forward to hearing their insights on the panel tonight too. I thought tonight, instead of like talking through kind of calendar events and things like that for the rest of the year, I kind of just wanted to spend a couple minutes going through each grade level and just sort of the expectations for them as we go through the rest of this spring and the summer and then into the fall. And so really starting with the current juniors, they're definitely going to need some strong scheduling between now and December. And what I mean by that is, like, this is a good opportunity, and I'll be curious, to hear what the senior panel has to say about this. But really, I would say between now and December break of next year, I would really recommend, sitting down with your student in the class of 2022 and really charting out how they're going to use their time to get all the things that they're responsible for done between now and then. And it's not so much like getting things done between now and June 18th. It's really getting into the summer and then getting into the fall. So for example, like, I would sit down with your current junior right now and really chart out, like, okay, what
Dr. Smith, you're mute. You're muted.
I am really sorry. Was I muted that whole time? That is totally embarrassing.
We
were lip reading and it was magnificent, so you're fine.
I told you the magic lotto numbers. All right, so I am really sorry about that. Sorry. You guys got to interrupt me before that.
Yeah.
What everybody should be doing. I think you left off where how will we get it all done?
Yeah. Okay, thank you. So, so with the juniors, I think it's really important to sit down with them and chart out this summer, when are they going to work on their extended essay? They don't need to write all of it, but they should get a lot of work done on their extended essay this summer. And really, every member of the class of 2022 is really going to be helping themselves if they can write their college essays this summer. And the fall of senior year is always busy. But because of the conditions of the pandemic this year, some of the internal assessments, especially like the biology and the chemistry internal assessments of students who are in those classes, we weren't able to get those done this year. Normally those are getting done right now. Those are normally done in May of junior year. And so it is going to add a little bit of an extra crunch to that fall of senior year. But then I would also, sit down with your student and kind of talk about the fact that, okay, then school is going to start on August 17th. That's a 4-day week. That's a Tuesday through Friday. And then you have 2 more 4-day weeks after that, leading up to Labor Day. And then because of Labor Day, you actually have another 4-day week leading up to September 10th. And so, honestly, to kind of keep the kids on a regular pace, talking with them, okay, how are you going to use that Monday or that Friday of those weeks to make sure that you're not staying up past 11 o'clock on school nights, and that you're having a really healthy approach to those weeks. Like, how are you going to use those days off, between August 17th and September 10th to keep yourself on schedule? I think it's just going to be one of those, like really beneficial items that will then pay dividends for everyone's sort of sanity as they go through the fall. And then just like having those regular check-ins then throughout, the fall and through the December break of, hey, what are you responsible for? What needs to get done? How are you doing on your college applications, which are normally due at the end of October? It just gets really, really busy. So having that slow and steady approach between now and December will keep kids in really good shape. I know a lot of students in the past, what they do the week after school gets out is a lot of them don't have a ton scheduled the week after school gets out in June. Normally, a lot of their summer activities pick up after that. So we've had students in the past who have just like put in an extra week of school right then to work on things like their college essays and extended essay. And like I said, it really pays off, and those students come back and tell you how glad they were to get things done during that time. So then switching over to the 10th graders, obviously they're starting the diploma program in the fall, and fingers crossed they're going to have a much more normal diploma program than the current seniors and the current juniors. But, really, and this goes for both 9th and 10th grade, is that all the teachers are telling me that they are really seeing that year of being on screens is having an effect. That when they say to the students in class, for the students, especially the kids who are in person, which is a majority now, when they say, hey, we don't need any devices right now. We don't need your phones. We don't need your Chromebooks or your laptops. Please put them away for a few minutes. In the past, the kids would be like, oh, okay. Right. And they put their devices away. And honestly, what's happening right now is the kids are looking back at the teachers like, what are you talking about? Like it's and the teacher really has to be like, no, it's important. I want you to disconnect for a few minutes. So that's something that we're going to be working on for the rest of this year. But then especially, in the fall, utilizing the phone holders in every classroom. So the expectation will be that kids turn in their phones at the beginning of every class, and kind of rebuilding that focus, getting back to phone-free Fridays on a regular basis. So those are some of the things that we're really going to be looking for between now and then with the current 10th and 9th graders. And then I guess the other thing, if you're a current 9th grade family, the teachers keep reporting that these 9th graders, they don't know each other the way that a 9th grade class should at this point. And right, and that's completely understandable. Everyone has masks on all day at school. It's harder to get to know people when you have a mask on. Kids have been online, kids have been in person. It's been disjointed. So there's going to be, an emphasis on those current 9th graders when they arrive in the fall and for the rest of this year. There's going to be returning to that. Hey, you guys really need to get to know each other at this point. It's important that you go through this program together. That's really one of the traditions of the IA, is that the students go through that rigorous program as a group, as a cohort. And so I think that's something to talk about with the current 9th graders is, hey, you didn't have Olympics in 9th grade, and you didn't have the chance to meet a lot of these students. So come into 10th grade in some ways like you're finally coming into the beginning of high school, and really have that open mind about meeting new students, talking to students in your classes. Your teachers are going to be doing everything they can to encourage those types of interactions, but also, come into it with an open mind that there's probably a lot of students that you didn't get to have a chance to meet or interact with in 9th grade. And so now is the time to do it, to make up for a little bit of lost time. So I just wanted to give everybody just a little bit of like an orientation of philosophically where the staff is going to be coming from for the rest of this year. And then when we start in the fall, and as much as we can do to reinforce those messages with the kids, I think will go a long way. That's all I have.
All right, fantastic. I love it. So let's go right into the senior panel, which we have 4 seniors that are here, and I think 4 were scheduled. Daniela, are you here? Daniela Ghaffari? India Wright? If you're here, you can unmute.
It's Indira Iyer, but I'm here.
Hey, all right. Hi, how are you? Jonah Elise? Oh, can't hear you, Jonah. see you're unmuted. Okay. Are you going to be able to talk at some point? Or are we going to go, he'll fix it. Yes. All right. Very good. And Mara Masalam.
Yeah, that was perfect. I'm here.
Hey, I got it. Thank you. Okay. Well, I think we're at 3. And if Daniela appears, feel free to jump in. So, I have a variety of great questions that we're going to go over, and I'm going to ask the questions. And as a group, feel free to stay unmuted in this particular situation and answer at will. Take turns. Each of you can add to each other's answers. Everybody else may want to turn off your own video, right? Just click your video off so that you get just the 4 students conversing with us. It could be helpful so that you get the full view of the 4 students that are talking when they come in, or go for a full view of them. So, all right, seniors, first question, what IB classes did you take? What activities did you do? And what college are you attending?
Can you hear me now?
Yep, perfect.
Okay. IBs, of the ones that we got to choose from, I did physics, econ, and Spanish. Some activities I was involved in within IA was I was the president of Build On, Physics Honor Society, Cube. I was on the forensics captains, and I started the investing club, and I'm going to U of M next year.
Nice, very good.
The IBs I am taking
Hi,
are
I'm Indira Iyer, and I
the IBs I'm taking are history, lit, and for my HLs are history, lit, and art. And I'm going to Wayne next year. And
What clubs did you do?
okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
I was part of Helping Hands Club. I was president of Running Club. I was part of Forensics for a year and Mock Trial for 3 years.
Perfect. Very good. Lots of clubs there. Is it Indira?
Hi, I'm just moving inside because my connection is too bad outside. But I take physics and Spanish and biology, and then I'm going to UC San Diego next year. And for activities, I was in forensics, Model UN, and I think some others I can't remember right now. But yeah.
There's lots of options. There's so many things to do with the IA.
There are a lot.
Fantastic. You know what I said? What are you going to college? What college are you attending? What are you going to go there for also?
I'm studying aerospace engineering.
Aerospace. Very nice. Mara?
Political science.
Poli-sci. And Jonah?
I'm studying computer science, and then I'm also dualing at Ross with business for probably management, social impact, but maybe finance.
Wonderful. Very good stuff. So if you guys can think back from back when you were in freshman all the way till now, what did you like most about the International Academy?
I can go first for this one. So my favorite thing was the tight-knit community that we had at IA. We basically know everyone and are friends with everyone, whether you want to or not. That's just how it happens. And I really love, I know for some of my friends at home schools, they don't really have club opportunities and things like that. So I really appreciate that at IA.
My favorite thing, it's more just the general culture. So I think that I definitely like the people there, and I think that kind of ties in with the clubs too. It's pretty academically rigorous, but I think it has to be for the right person. So I think just good transparency for the 9th grade class coming in is important. But I think the people who stay all 4 years generally really like it. So
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree and say because of how small and tight knit the school is, the teachers get to know the students better, and that really helps us. And because of how rigorous it is, that definitely does come in handy.
Super, great answers. So I got just a couple more here. So if you were to start all over at the IA, what's something you might do differently? That's a thinker. We need some Jeopardy clock sounds right now. When you come up with something, Take the reins.
I'd say my freshman year, I didn't really put myself out there and like for clubs and get help if I needed to. And I think that really, as time went on, I became more comfortable in the school. And so yeah, I would have put myself out there. I would have asked for help if I needed to. I would have joined clubs right from the start. And I think that would have came in handy like in the future.
Yeah, I have something similar to Mara. I think my freshman and even sophomore year, I was a little bit more afraid to reach out to upperclassmen about questions or even classes that I had. But I think like now I'm looking back and realizing it would have been a lot more helpful to ask them when they were at our school, because now like you can't really get in touch with them or ask things like, what did you do for this? When you like ran into this, what did you do to solve that problem? So I think that would have really helped.
Jonah?
I think this is like a pretty common sentiment for like lots of things, but I kind of wish that I didn't spend like so much energy and focus on like the academics of it and like put more like energy and focus in things like clubs and organizations, because I think stuff like that, it's more useful in the long run and fulfilling. And I think that a lot of kids realized when we were applying to college, like just things like GPA and test scores aren't everything. So I just guess I would prioritize my time differently, if that makes sense.
Prioritize differently. Good. So when you say GPA and test scores aren't everything, what do you mean by that?
I mean, IA kids are generally like really academically motivated, but I think that once like, you know, you're at the end of the 3 years and you're applying to college, it's like you realize that things like your essays, like the story you can tell, like the extracurriculars you've done are just probably more important. So I wish that like over the course of the past 4 years, I just put like more focus into like things that like I was actually really interested in, and then took away stress from things that maybe weren't as significant in the long run. Like it's still important, but I think that people don't always prioritize their time right. But I think that's pretty common in every high school.
Yeah, jumping off of what Jonah said, like I think at like the level that all IA students are at, we all have a good GPA, we all have a good test score. So the only thing to set us apart is really like our essays and experiences. So I think it's really important to also put a lot of time and focus into that.
Hey, those are super answers, and you know that's great advice too, really. So get out there to any of the freshmen, sophomores, even the juniors. Get out there, get involved. Don't be afraid. Everyone's out there. That's the one thing I've heard, is that everybody's out to help everyone succeed there. So because the curriculum is so rigorous and you put a lot of pressure on yourselves, what do you do to relieve some of that anxiety? Anyone know?
For me, okay, so for me, I really loved all the clubs I was a part of. So I was in forensics, which is a public speaking club, and like every weekend basically we had a competition, and I was like not really an academic focus like category, so I did duo, which is like acting, a little like acting segment with like a friend, which was like really fun. And also like even the time that we just got to practice was still like really fun and kind of like got our minds off of school, but it was still like helping us for our future, really.
Super.
Okay, so what I would say is, so one of the ways like I didn't get like too stressed with the curriculum, especially in like the diploma program, was I did a lot of research into the IB in general. And I actually jotted down like a few of these things that like I wish the school was like a little bit more transparent about. And like some of those include, for one, the IB diploma isn't even like extremely useful in the US. So like when I knew that, I was still extremely motivated to get it. You know, we put in like so much work freshman and sophomore year, but I think it took off a lot of the pressure. And then also like things like you only get credit for your HLs, the fact that internals, which are something, you know, we spend so much time on, they're only like 20% of your grade in the end. And then also like other things like the extend essay and TOK, again, they contribute to your diploma, but they're kind of small in comparison to like your external scores. So basically, I guess what I'm saying is I was able to alleviate a lot of stress with the diploma program by just seeing it for what it was. And a lot of the things that we didn't spend so much energy on, they didn't need to be as stressful as they were. So then since I was less stressed, I think I actually did better on them just because I was like, for example, for like extended essay, because like I realized that it's only such a small contributor to getting the IB diploma, I was able to do a topic that I was like really interested in. And then that just made the whole process not that stressful.
Cool. Mara, anything to add?
Yeah, I was just gonna say that I think I spaced and I managed my time wise enough to be able to have time to myself and do whatever I really enjoyed other than schoolwork, which is like a big like stereotypical thing about IA. It's like, oh, you have a lot of homework, but really like spacing out my time and deciding what I need to do for myself instead was really important. And building off what Jonah said, doing things that you're really interested in school as well, which will make everything go by much smoother and quicker.
Super. Time management, that's key, right? That's the thing I heard from the very beginning, is if you can pace yourself, you'll get it all done. Many students do and succeed very well. So when we're looking at, you as a student have to space your workout and set your pace and get the work done. But what could you tell your parents, even if they're in the room with you right now? It's okay. What would you say to your parents? Hey, here's how you could have helped me out over the past 4 years, so that new parents know, hey, relax, here's how you can help me.
A huge thing in my house, especially when COVID hit and we were all at the house at the same time, I wanted a space for myself. And that was like a big thing. And I was like trying to advocate for myself. I was like, I really want a space. So I think letting your kid have their own area, because that would really help them focus, not only in school during online classes, but also while doing homework and just having time to think. That would really help.
For me, like my parents were very hands off all through high school. So I think for me, like maybe I don't know if I would say involvement, but maybe like a little more like motivation, like, okay, like we saw like, oh, I heard about your extended essay, like what are you doing that about, and things like that. Just like kind of like being interested and kind of like things like that, I think are really like helpful, so you can like have someone to talk to about it and like kind of get your ideas flowing. Even though you do have your friends, like it's kind of nice for your parents to also be involved in like that entire process too.
I didn't really involve my parents with like school, but I think what Mara was saying about having your personal space, I think that was extremely important for me. So I would just agree with that.
Perfect. So from my perspective, there was a point where I realized that my son was going to run with his information, do what he needed to do. I didn't have a lot to do. They really run autonomously on the whole system. They're going to fly on their own. And so I set up a thing that I called couch time, and he hated it. And he still does. And he comes home and I'm like, listen, man, we're going to sit on the couch and you're going to tell me 5 things about your day. And I just want to hear about each class and what happened. And it just became a habit. Like he'd come home, plop down, and now he shares those things with me at will. Sometimes, not a lot, but sometimes there's a whole lot to tell. And sometimes there's things that we talk about. So it's become a discussion topic. It's been really fantastic for us. Moving on to other questions. So when we're applying to colleges, right, that's got to be a stressful time. You're like, gosh, I want to get into the college of my choice. And do you have any tips about applying to colleges, things that worked or anything that you didn't have successful or things you've done differently?
I would say 2 things. One, I think Dr. Smith said this earlier, but starting your essays really early, like even July, August, if you can. And then the other thing, I think it's really important to try to like cut down your list, because I think a lot of kids, they just throw out a lot of applications and they might get accepted into some schools that they don't even want to go to. And then that just takes away time from like applications that you like for colleges that you might actually want to go to. So I think honing down your list really early on and thinking about that like earlier on in the process is important.
How many colleges did you apply to total?
I only applied to 4 colleges, but then that gave me a lot more time to apply for like scholarships, versus if I had applied to like all the other colleges I was like possibly considering but probably wouldn't have even gone to, I wouldn't have had time to apply to the scholarships, which was more helpful to me in the long run.
Anything to add, girls?
Yeah, so for me, I applied to 6 schools, and I kind of like, I didn't really think I was gonna go to UCSD. I mean, like, a lot of my friends said I would go there and things like that, but like I never really thought I was gonna go there. But so like Jonah's saying don't apply to schools, but I think you never really know like where you're truly meant to be, because I feel like it's kind of fate the whole process too. So I think like the whole time leading up to college is like really important to build your resume and everything like that, not just with school. But like think a lot about like what's gonna be like your niche and like what you're really gonna focus on. So like mine was a focus in aerospace and law. So like that, I feel like that helped my application because I was able to write really specific essays. But I feel like someone who's undecided, like I'm not really sure what like their essays would be about, because it's like kind of hard to like have a passion for anything if you're undecided. So like even if you don't want to do that, I feel like it's really like important to have some sort of niche and focus.
Super. Mara?
I'd agree. I applied to 3 schools, and I didn't think I was going to go to Wayne either. But then because of the opportunities there and the scholarships and all these factors, I decided to go there. But yeah, I think what Indy was saying, how important it is to really focus yourself, because I know it might be difficult, and I don't even know how I came to the conclusion that I wanted to do poli-sci. But it's so important, and it will help, because even going into college, you have opportunities to do, and it's all, to build up your resume.
Fantastic. Super. In my case, I'm looking at the sophomore, I'm heading into junior year. There's a book called Who Gets In and Why? And it's written by someone who really went and looked at all the different, a couple of different colleges. And it's really like, I think am I saying it Indira? Indira. Like Indira said, there is some randomness to it that you have no control over, and you have to accept that. You're like a ship about on the ocean, and you land where you're going to land. And so that's something you just gotta deal with the stress of it all, right? But so I think there was a point in the conversation where Dr. Smith had discussed the fact that we're trying to unplug and get off the screen. And I know that the previous time period was a little different than going forward, but how did you work out not having screen time? How did you unplug? Or we were on the screens all the time, weren't we?
I felt like I was always on the screen, but I think the main thing, like when you are gonna hang out with your friends or do something like outside of your own house, I mean, obviously during like the pandemic, you couldn't do that, but when you are gonna do that, I think try to plan something that's not related to electronics, and maybe like try to like, oh, let's like do something outside. I don't know, like whatever you and your friends would like to do. Like, even if you like to eat or something like that, you can always go like eat outside or things like that is like nice to do.
Super.
I kind of forced myself to create a schedule that would make me not be with the electronics and spend time outside. And I had a certain friend go out with me every single time, and we'd go for walks or we'd go play a sport. And we'd do it every week, 3 times a week, to really unplug and try to get away from all this.
Great tip. Jonah?
Yeah, I agree with everything Indy and Mara said. I think also, like, when the school day is really long and it's online, it's like good to like try to do things away from the screen. Like, for example, take notes by paper, or just like other things that just isn't constantly staring at the screen nonstop. But yeah, I mean, definitely trying to like set a schedule and get away from it as much as possible.
Fun. Good tips. Thank you. So we're going on to sports and activities. A big thing that anyone coming into the IA hears is, oh, you can't possibly do a sport and all the other activities and do all of your schoolwork. It's just too much. Did any of you play a sport actively, and how did you manage your time on that?
I did diving I was a diver for Adams for all 4 years. And honestly, like I didn't have any problem managing my time, I feel like. Also my sport was a fall sport, so I feel like that also really helped me because the fall isn't as busy as its time at IA. But I think just like making sure, like I know like we had really long meets every Thursday night, but what was really helpful was the AB schedule. So I would do it on the day that I got it instead of like waiting till the day before. So I wouldn't have any homework that Thursday night. And just things like that. But I think like overall, like practice is usually only 2 hours of your night. I mean, you might not feel like doing homework after that, but you have to do it some days. So I think it works out.
Yeah, I did tennis for Groves, and I actually was able to be the captain. And then I also did track in the spring. And I had 2 different experiences with those 2 different sports. It was a lot better for tennis. And I think the reason was because my coach was a lot more lenient with me because I just kept him in the loop with things that were going on in school. Like I just tried to develop a closer relationship with him. And I think that if you're going to do sports specific, especially, it's good if like the coach knows about IA and knows how difficult it is and whatnot. And then also just for activities in general, I don't think that it should be something that's stressful. And if it is, you're probably doing the wrong activity, I guess. So I think like usually like sports and activity should be like a way to get away from your schoolwork. So it should be like a break. And then I think that makes the schoolwork easier, honestly.
I did tennis as well, and girls tennis is a spring sport, and I think it's important, like Indy mentioned, like the season the sport falls on. So spring was kind of stressful my previous years, and because of it's like the end of the school year, things are happening. But I found that because of practice, I kind of, when I came home, I put away all my distractions, and it kind of helped me focus on doing my homework instead of the opposite.
Yeah, I actually want to add on to that. I had a friend at IA when I was in 8th grade who told me the same thing, which was he did tennis as well in the fall and then other sport in the spring. And like he noticed that during the sports season, he actually felt a lot better during school because he just felt more energized coming home. And it was like a break rather than doing like 8 hours of school and then going straight into homework. And, it's actually like nice.
Yeah, I wanted to add on to that too. Like just for my own personal experience, I actually like doing sports. Like I feel like even if you don't play a sport, like it might even be beneficial to start because I really liked it because it actually limited my time in the day. So I kind of had to set like the rest of my night to my homework because now like when I don't have sports and things like that, I'd be like, oh, I have all night to do it. And then it's 8 o'clock and I haven't started. I'm like, oh, well, I would have already be done with all my homework if this is a regular like fall season night. So I think like honestly, like a sport really helped me through high school.
It forced you not to procrastinate, that you got to set that schedule and say, this is when I have the time to get the work done. And that AV schedule really makes a difference too. My son plays hockey and he is right now doing track and he's got to juggle on some days. There's a late one. Today's a late one. He's got his final track meet. And I know that whatever work he has, he's going to have to push to tomorrow. They'll have a late day of homework tomorrow, but he manages and juggles it so that it works out for him. And that really has been beneficial because it's also unplugging, de-stressing, the exercise, it's all good stuff. So that's fantastic. Here we go. All right, we're almost there. We're in the home stretch. The personal project, right? That's a big deal. Everyone's like, oh, my personal project, what am I going to do? And they're brainstorming, you're looking at all the different options. Now, did your personal project correlate to the degree program you're going into? Do you think it should? Or do you think it could just be just about anything?
For me, I didn't even know I wanted to do aerospace engineering until my internship this past summer. So I feel like you can't really know that. Even now, it's kind of hard to know what you want to do for the next 4 years. So I feel like even then it would be even harder. But I just did it about cooking because I really love to cook. And so I did it like related to like healthy eating and things like that. So like, I feel like just do something that you're passionate about and you already like to do. Like I already cook a lot. So it's easy to just incorporate my personal project into my life. So I think that was really beneficial to me.
Yeah, my personal project did relate to the fields I want to go into. And I think that's something that should be encouraged, but like I don't think any sophomore should really be pressured into like doing something that they will for sure go into a career into. But I think that it's really important that someone just does a project that they're passionate about rather than doing something that's like easy or will fit the criteria well. I think that it's really easy to just like do well in the project and have a fun time doing it if it's something that you're actually passionate about.
Yeah, my personal project was about the stigma of autism. And this really did kind of go into what I really want to do in the future, because I want to be a lawyer, hopefully, and I want to deal with mental health and kids. So I think exploring more of that topic during my sophomore year, during the personal project, did help me and motivate me to kind of focus myself and what my interests are. So I think it really did help.
Wonderful. Great answers. Thank you. So at this point, I'd like to open it up to, if anyone has any questions, please put them in the chat. So feel free to type a few questions in there. If anyone has anything they're thinking of they'd like to know about, it's from seniors who have been there and done that. And as they pop up, we can address them. And, you know, while we're waiting for people to type them in, to go ahead and hit send now. How did you decide what to major in?
For me, I think I was able to decide what major I wanted to go in when I looked into just what I want to do for the rest of my life. And I think that also really stemmed from like just trying new things. And I think that actually clubs were really helpful for that.
Yeah, I agree. So I did mock trial and forensics and a bunch of other clubs, which kind of led me to really want to do law and political science. So I think clubs are a huge, huge, huge factor. But also other outside experiences like enrichment and other stuff like that.
For me, like I never really knew. I always knew I wanted to do engineering, and I eventually want to go into law. But I never knew like what field of engineering. So this past summer, I interned for NASA, and that was really like what inspired me to like major in this. I had a really like great mentor who really like helped me through the whole process and helped me a lot. So I think like that's really what like made me want to major in this. But I've probably not a lot of people have the same experience. So I mean, like I guess it just like comes to you and you just like it clicks with you and you just realize like that's what you want to do.
Just click. So that's great. You had a lot of different experiences. You all did some different clubs and enrichments. It got you a feel for what you were looking for. So
I just want to add one thing. I did have a similar experience to Indy where I got like pretty passionate about software and business after an internship. But I think that it doesn't need to be like an internship. I do actually think that like the enrichment structure is really helpful. So I think that even if like people were encouraged to do the final career like professional enrichments earlier on, that could be really helpful, especially when applying to college and whatnot.
Super. Okay. Okay, so I see. So there's a combination of questions that pertain to both. So let's go. Okay, thoughts on final enrichment and career shadowing. How did you choose which career to shadow?
So initially I was confused and like debating what to do. So I actually did my career shadowing at Henry Ford Hospital, and I worked in the ICU unit. And that's when I realized I do not want to go into medicine. So it really is beneficial not only to find out what you want to do, but what you don't want to do. And through that shadowing and career experience, I was able to go to different units in the hospital and explore a little bit, but mostly in the ICU. And so yeah, I'd say just do what you think you want to do. But if that doesn't work out, then that's completely fine. And you will still have other opportunities to explore what you really want to do.
Good answer.
I did mine really early on, and I shadowed an attorney who specialized in like biology and biotechnology. And I think that really like helped me narrow down like my focus kind of and how you could like intertwine STEM and law. So I think that really like pushed me in a certain direction. I always knew I wanted to do law, but you obviously have to do an undergrad for that. So I was able to like combine like both things. And if I eventually don't want to go into law, like I always have a career path. So I think like that was really helpful to like hear from someone who's already been through it.
Any thoughts, Jonah?
Sorry, what was the question again?
The final enrichment, the career shadowing. How did you choose what to do? for that?
Oh yeah, I didn't mind the summer between sophomore and junior year. I was already pretty passionate about what I was discussing. I ended up just interning at like a software company in downtown Detroit, like a startup. Um, but I think what Mara was saying about like also realizing what you don't want to do is really important. So I think just like looking at like the opportunities in front of you, like asking people or like emailing people and like applying for things like internships or like just personal things is important. And then whatever it is, you're going to learn something at the end. Because like so many fields are just like interdisciplinary or so interdisciplinary at this point. And then also at the same time, even if you didn't like it, it just gives you, like Mara said, more understanding of what you do want to do.
Super, super. So extended essay topics, like what did you write about? How long do you think you spent on it?
I did mine on basically the significance of like the federal electric EV tax being terminated and then how that affected specifically Tesla Model 3 sales, because for econ you have to do like a really specific thing. But I was able to like, I kind of like decided that just based on like my interest. So I was just really interested in like kind of the combination of like politics and technology. So that's how I decided. But I think I mentioned this earlier. I think it's really important to just pick a topic that you're interested in, because even if it seems like it's going to be harder, it's going to end up being easier.
I did mine on like how the migration paths of monarch butterflies affected their flight habits. I think like I had a really hard time choosing my EE, which I feel like is fine. I mean, it was really hard because I had to like do a lot of work in a small amount of time, but it ended up like I really enjoyed it, and I also like chose a teacher that I really like to work with, so I think like it all just worked out for me.
Yeah, I did mine about, I was comparing the cultural impact of two books. So my topic was literature, and I was able to work with a teacher I really wanted to. And I think that's super important. And you can do whatever you want. And I think that's important to acknowledge, is that find a topic and then find a subject that relates to it, which is the most important thing. And then do it in the summer. That's like completely essential, I feel. I did mine in the summer, and I think that really helped, and it allowed me to focus more on school. So yeah.
Okay, I was talking about this like a lot earlier in the call, but like I don't know if like anyone else is like familiar with what goes into getting the IB diploma, but basically you need to get 24 points in order to get the diploma, and that's like a combination of things like your internals, your tests that like we all just did, and the extend essay and whatnot. And extend essay is only 1.5 of those 24 points, and you have the potential to get in the 50s. So my point of that is like, I don't think that like anyone should like tell their kids or any teachers to say that it's like not something that's important. But I think like people should really just be encouraged to do something that they're interested in. And also I think that it is just a really great process, generally speaking, because I know a lot of people in college say that they have no issues writing like papers for their classes because they did stuff like the extended essay. So I just think that's something that shouldn't be high pressure, but it's more of just like a great opportunity. Like you have the chance to work with like a really good teacher, and to like, you have the resources to go in depth on a topic. So it's just all around beneficial. But I don't think that it should be like advertised as something that's like overly stressful or high pressure.
Super. Another question. So there's two questions that haven't been addressed yet. It's Dr. Smith. There's a question about how many students made it into Ivy League this year. I don't know if you have any totals on that.
You know, I can tell you our students every year get into amazing colleges. I don't have that specific number off the top of my head, but I also don't necessarily think it's healthy to overemphasize that number. You know, Steve, as you mentioned earlier tonight, you can do everything that everyone tells you to get into a certain school, and you still might not get in. And I think that's just a really important, from a mental health perspective, for all of us parents, you know, to internalize, And so, IE kids go to amazing places, but I think it's just really important to focus on finding schools and programs that seem to meet your interests as a student. And it's great to have some reach schools. It's great to aspire to get into some, really prestigious schools, but I would also, just encourage everyone just to also look for schools that are going to meet your passions and be a great fit for you, because, the sad fact of it is you can't control college admissions, and that's the honest truth. And so obviously, we watch that admission process very closely, and we're very proud of where our students end up going and all the accolades they get in senior year. I think everybody knows where I'm coming from.
It's a super tip, though. It's a very serious topic. Everyone gets very excited about getting into the school of their choice. And I often talk about the fact that our kids' orthodontist welcomed a new orthodontist who went to Harvard, and the other orthodontist went to University of Michigan, and there's one went to Michigan State. And you've got to say to yourself, they're all three orthodontists. They all went to three different calibers of school, and they all work in the same office now. Now I realize that different degrees have different value, and different places have different, opportunities that come with that. So, it's important to balance that out, absolutely, and not to get too caught up in it, because you'll wind up where there's an opportunity. Some of it's random and out of your control. I think one other comment that was requested is, okay, what should we do now as freshmen to prepare for college? We're going back to the senior panel. If you had any thoughts on what is good to prepare as a freshman, what would you think to tell your freshman self?
I think that like freshman and sophomore year are probably, there's just lower stress because of the curriculum isn't as rigorous. So I think that's really the time that you're going to want to get involved in things like clubs and whatnot. And I think that also, like when you're involved in clubs and whatnot, it makes it a lot easier to actually write the college essays because you have a story to tell. Like you're able to say, this is what I'm interested in. This is things I've done, So I just think getting involved early is really important.
Get involved early.
Yeah, I think it's kind of your chance to figure out what you want to do and find those activities that really fit you, because freshman year, you can pick out a bunch of clubs because you have so much time, and then really narrow it down by your senior year what you really want to do, what club do you want to put most of your energy into, and things like that. And then even outside of school activities, oh, this is the program I want to apply to beginning of junior year. This is what I need, this is what it takes to get into this program, and this is what I need to do these years. So looking into those sorts of programs and figuring out your track to get into those even before even getting into college, I guess.
I agree. I think the only thing I'd tell my freshman self is to put yourself out there, don't be afraid, and everything will work out.
You're very reassuring. I love it. I love it. Well, I've got to say, the three of you are very articulate and intelligent and gave fantastic answers. I have a great feeling that you're all three going to go very far in your pursuits. I really appreciate your joining us and being part of sharing that tradition of sharing from the senior perspective with all of the people who could join us tonight. So thank you so much. Wonderful. Well done. We're going to move on to committee reports to keep this party going. And that means so I'm going to call you out. And if you're in the house, please feel free to step up and talk about it. And if not, I will do my best to fill in. Staff appreciation. Holly, are you around?
Yes, I am. Hi. How are you?
I'm doing well, thanks.
Good. All right, so I'm going to give a quick update on the Teacher Appreciation Committee. This year was a challenge, of course, because for the bulk of the year, we were not in person. Myself and Lisa Nardone are co-chairs of the Teacher Appreciation Committee.
I was saying goodbye to the students are leaving.
Oh,
sorry.
Yes, and thank you. Thank you so much to the students. Always excellent information.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thanks again. Back to you, Holly.
Okay, thank you. So we managed 2 events so far. Our third and final event is June 15th. The first event was a fruit and vegetable box or basket, and that was via the PTIA budget, which I believe was very well received. The second were gift cards around the holiday time, also via the PTIA budget. Our third, as I mentioned, June 15th, is going to be an ice cream cart outside, plus a small gift card to recognize all the amazing teachers and staff that we have at the IA.
Sounds fun.
It's great, and we're very lucky to have them, and we're excited to show them how much we love all of them. We are funding the third initiative via parent donations, which we have a sign up genius for. Let's see, our goal was $900, and that was to pay for the ice cream cart, the ice cream, and some gift cards for each individual teacher and staff at the IA. So far, we have met that goal, and we're slightly above, so we're happy about that. And we look forward to getting that going June 15th. The other thing I'll mention, or a couple things, are the PTIA sent a survey to the teachers and staff asking about preferences in regards to what they would like to see in regards to appreciation. We had 21 responses. The first, the most, I guess, in the number one position were gift cards. The second was catered lunch, and the third was the fruit and veggie boxes. Moving forward for 2021 and 2022, we are, Lisa and I, and of course PTIA, are considering maybe having multiple smaller events as opposed to the traditional 3 major events kind of, or bigger events that we've done in the past. We're going to explore those options and hopefully come up with something that everybody enjoys.
Magnificent. Hey, thanks so much for taking care of our teachers. They've had a rough year and they really deserve a lot more. I wish we could do so much more. You know, I've got to say also that it is fantastic that you met that goal and exceeded it. I've got to tell you that when I came to the IA, there were a number of people who stood up and said, look at us, we're the PTA. And there's so many people involved in the background, so many people who contribute either time, money, or both to making sure that this school is taken care of the best we can, you know, and I appreciate everyone who helps out. Thanks to everyone who chipped in there.
Yep, as do we. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So
I also did, I'm sorry, I wanted to mention one more thing. If anybody has any ideas or would also like to help out, then of course we're always open to any ideas or questions or comments, and let us know.
Holly, would you throw your email address into the chat? And that way, if anyone wants to follow up with you with helping out with teacher appreciation, they can join you.
Yep, I'll do it right now. Thank you.
That would be super. So if everyone scrolls to the top of the chat, there are 4 different things that you can click on. Multicultural celebration. I suggest you click on any of these you're interested in now, because that way it will be something you can look at later. Once we leave this Zoom, I don't think they'll be available. The Bowers Farm Day flyer, that's for everybody. That's a really great opportunity to get the whole school together. I'm sorry, I'm looking from the side, but I have it up over here. That is Saturday, June 5th from noon to 4. So put that on your calendar. It is free for IA students, $10 for guests. I don't know if that includes, and there's a whole bunch of activities, lawn games, volleyball, cornhole, bring your own picnic, ice cream. The farm store will be open. So you know what? And the house with the highest turnout wins ice cream. Everyone's divided into houses. Ask your kids, who doesn't love ice cream, right? So take a look at that one. Disrupting Racism Student Association. These kids are passionate and they are looking to put together and keep this group alive between all 3 campuses. And they've worked very hard at this. So please take a look at that flyer and give them an opportunity to share their thoughts and ideas with you. And it might be an opportunity for incoming freshmen to sign up for something, a program that they want to be involved in. Then we'll go down to the sponsorship opportunity. That's one that we've been running right now. I'm pleased to report that we're already over $9,000 in funding out of the 15,000. That's going to put new picnic tables out so the kids have somewhere to hang out back. And we're going to have a smaller area in the front where kids can go and do schoolwork so they can get outside, get that fresh air that they so desire. New bulletin boards. These bulletin boards are going to replace the old bulletin boards. And those old bulletin boards are the ones that you see in the halls that have all the tattered paper falling off of them from backpacks because they are smaller halls. And so the new covered ones are going to keep everything safe from the backpacks and the brushing up against them. We're also going for mannequins. I learned that the kids have been learning CPR on pillows, and we're going to use real CPR mannequins. We got a few more we need sponsored. Appreciate anybody who puts that in. We could be saving a life doing that, right? And these cue ball microphones, you might think, oh, it's a little microphone. It's like the size of a small softball, maybe bigger like a volleyball. And it really is something these teachers use to get the kids active. And even, you know, the quiet one in the back here, here's the microphone, get your speech going, get involved, let's talk. It teaches them, draws them out. So these are all opportunities to add on to the whole opportunity that's going to happen, transformation that's going to happen this summer, where they're going to paint the halls, they're going to put in a new bathroom, so many things. It's all listed there. So click on that link, please. And thank you to everybody who's already supported us with that. Committee reports. Phil Skoleski, you have been our webpage activist. You've been putting all of our information up, and you've been working on a new webpage, but he's aging out of this program. He's almost out, and we have one more year of Phil around. So we need somebody who has minimal web skills, just a little bit, just a hint of it, to come on board, work with Phil, and hand this off. Hopefully a freshman parent, that would be nice, that could really be able to manage working with Phil so that we can build this new web page from our old web page to make it look kind of fancy it up, you know? Those of you, repost the items I see. They didn't get in there. I can repost as I'm speaking. Pardon me if I sound like I'm thinking while I'm talking. So Phil, you want to say a little bit about what you do?
Sure. And all those things you just covered are on the PTIA website. So you don't have to worry about clicking the links. Just go to the website and you can find out, get all the flyers.
All the flyers are there too. Fantastic. Yep. Thank you.
But yeah, no, you covered it pretty good there. This year, been working on a new modern, fresh website, and hopefully we can get that launched real soon here. Working on perhaps getting purchasing PTI memberships on that website for next year. Should get that done this summer. But yeah, next year's my last year, and I'm looking for someone to train for next year. You got me all next year to answer any questions. Like you said, it's not difficult. You don't need to be an IT person. You don't have to be a techie coder, you know, whatever. They make these websites really easy to for anyone to do nowadays. So if you're interested, let me know. I'll put my email address in the chat there, and I'll put out a link to the new and the old PTIA websites too, so you can check out the new one.
Super. Links will be in there. So anyone who wants to go and check them out and save that, so it's a great resource. I find it often there's a lot of information there. Phil, thanks so much for helping us out all these years.
My pleasure.
So moving on to our next, communication dovetails right in with what Phil does. We're needed, Yangtze. Is Yangtze in the house? Nope. Thanks, Janet. So Yangtze basically is central to, she'll send out to everybody that has any committees, hey, what do you want to put in the newsletter? Hey, what information should I, and she gets it all together and then sends it all out to Dr. Smith or to Mary Minor for the newsletter, or for whoever's supposed to send stuff out. That way we have one focal point rather than each committee emailing one person, the next committee emailing another person, and it can be a lot, right? So we conglomerate it, send it out on Thursdays. It's really not that hard a job. It's, you know, Wednesday night, hey, what do you want me to send out? Put it all together, format it, send it. If you think that you could do that job hey, we need someone to do it pretty badly, as the person who does it now is on their way out also. It's a pretty easy job and it's something you can do for a while. I'm going to put my email address. Boom. Any of these things that I've discussed, please feel free to drop me an email. If you have a question, you can ask about it and then say, that doesn't sound like a thing I'd be interested in, but hit me up, let me know. Now we're going to move on to beautification. Is that Christine? Or Sue?
No,
I think it's Sue.
I think Katya was gonna do the outdoor beautification for us.
Katya.
Hi. I thought Christine wanted to say first something about anything else but the outdoor classroom. This is why I was waiting. So I start off with outdoor classroom. So this is a budget that we have up in the air. We do not know yet the number, but there's maybe something approved by the board. And the idea is to install in the north east corner of the green field. We talked to Dr. Smith, tried to figure out what is the best location, what could be also in regards of the community using the green field, a proper situation. And we have theoretically, we have the premises down on the paper, but we need to first figure out from the school district if they have an assigned landscaper that we have to take into consideration. If not, we already have the first conversations with a couple of landscapers that we are trying to get on board, not only for this outdoor classroom, which should be for about 30 students, one class, Dr. Smith wanted, and the idea is to get rid of the devices when the teachers are getting out there. So we need no repeater or anything, it's just the structure that we need for outdoor use. And yeah, we're just in our baby feet steps right now and waiting to learn more. And then we're gonna start off pretty soon in getting cost estimates. We're trying to be cost efficient, of course. And long story short, if there's anyone out there in the IA community who is somehow tied up with landscaping or owns a landscaping company and would like to get involved maybe on a yearly basis, and a plug and everything and advertising could be all discussed, we would be happy to hear anything from that side.
Fantastic. Thank you, Katya.
Okay.
As far as beautification, so that talks about the outdoor classroom that we're looking to do. Is there anything else to add, Sue, to landscaping or otherwise, beautification wise?
Christine, do you want to?
Well, yeah, there's a few things we're kind of working on. I mean, nickel dime things, really, flowers, trees, that's all in process. I mean, everything is pretty slow right now in the landscaping community and the construction community and whatnot. So those are things we're working on. Also, you know, we just threw up some basketball nets in the backyard, in the back of the building where they have the two hoops. Currently, I don't know if most of you have seen the outdoor space. It's really a nice space for the kids. So we did that. And then, you know, there's Foursquare out there too. So kind of have some ideas on even just something as simple as Foursquare lines and maybe getting some balls for the kids so they can. I know at Avondale we had the cage for balls that they could use, and they just go out there and have fun when they had the opportunity on lunch and whatnot. So those picnic tables are going to be a huge enhancement. So excited about that for next summer for these kids as well. Some fun stuff on the horizon. So that's really all I have to add. Not sure if
That's perfect. That's just great. Beautification, you've done a great job. Love the wood chips. The outside looks pretty sharp. You know, it always needs a little help in hand over the summer. So next fall, I'm sure there'll be some recruiting to get the place cleaned up again.
Mm-hmm.
But thank you for that. We're moving to mentor program. Janet, I know you're here.
I am. Hello. So we are now at the point of getting ready for next year. We'll be welcoming in the new families in about a month or so. I sent out surveys to folks who were mentors this year, as well as the 9th grade families who participated in the program. I heard back from a lot of people. I really appreciate all of that feedback. We will definitely be taking your ideas and what you liked and what we could do better into consideration as we move forward. So, and a lot of people have already told me they are interested in being mentors for next year, and I really appreciate that as well. However, when I look at the list of people I've heard from and knowing how many kids we will be having coming from each of the districts, we'll be needing a mentor from Avondale, Berkeley, Birmingham, maybe a couple, Waterford, West Bloomfield, and maybe one from Lake Orion and another one from Rochester. So I'll be putting a sign up together for that.
Oh,
Oh,
lost you for a second.
did I cut out there?
You're back.
Okay. And I'll put my email in the chat as well. So if you are interested in being a mentor next year, get in touch with me either through email or on the sign up when that comes out. Let me see. So in a couple of weeks, everybody who has indicated that they're interested in being a mentor next year will have a meeting. So a little bit of an orientation and lessons learned from this past year and what we want to do differently going forward. A lot of the feedback was that people would really like to get together. Obviously that was tough last summer, but even if it's not in person, more personal Zooms, some folks wanted a little bit more connection, more regular check-ins with their mentors. So all of these are good learnings and always looking at continuous improvement and making the program better going forward. So stay tuned, there'll be more information to come, and please reach out if you are interested in getting involved in this program. And thank you very much to everybody who was involved this year and for all of the feedback that folks provided. I really appreciate that.
That is a great program. It was not available when I started at the IA. It started the year after, and being part of it was great. It really is interesting to see the questions that a new parent might have and to answer a few questions. It doesn't take a lot of time. It's a text, a phone call, an email, just being available to answer questions from your own experience, especially more experienced parents who have been there, done that. For the new coming parents are going to be like, what about this? You know, it's really a great opportunity. So if you do get a chance just to lend a hand, Janet runs the whole thing very well. It's very smooth. So please sign up, and I'm sure Janet will have her email up there in just a moment. We're going to move to, here we go. Okay, I have 4 names. Health and wellness. Angel, who's doing health and wellness? I saw you in there. Did you disappear again? Sue?
Hi. Thank you
Angel's
so
here.
much. Sorry, I was in another board meeting, so forgive me for just now jumping in. Health and Wellness Committee, we've had a great year, first of all. We had several different workshops. Our latest one was a college workshop with Alicia. Thank you, Sue, for speaking up on that. That was one of our highest participated webinars for Health and Wellness Committee. Over 75 participants attended. And it was so popular that we're thinking about bringing that topic back. We had one on race relations. We had one on mental health, how depression, anxiety, and COVID is related to our kids this year. We had one on mindfulness as well. Recently, our Health and Wellness Committee is joining a partnership with Bloomfield Youth Assistance, the Birmingham Bloomfield Coalition, and the Director of Social and Emotional Learning at the district, as well as several parents at the IA and at Bloomfield Hills Schools District. We're kind of, and a member of the Parent Advocacy Council for Special Education. And we're all kind of collaborating together about how we can do programming for next year. We're looking at data from student surveys, parent surveys. We're hoping to have a series of about 4 to 6 workshops next year. Some will be for students, some will be for parents, all of which will probably be recorded. That will be kind of data driven as well. So we're excited about that. The other part of health and wellness is that we're doing an open barn event. Every mental health professional I speak to lately says that so many of our kids are really, really struggling with the re-entry part of the pandemic. You know, some of the friends that maybe they were friends with pre-pandemic, you know, there's a lot of uncertainty. Are they going to be their friends again? Maybe they don't know how to reconnect to those friends that they had pre-pandemic. How do they do that? When do they do that? How do they reconnect without the use of technology? You know, these are, you know, really big struggles, not only with our kids, but a lot of adults that I'm talking with. You know, we kind of don't know how to re-engage. Our attempt at this is to kind of have an open barn event. We thought it would be COVID friendly and safe with the outdoors. Also the Bowers Farm right across from IA down the street. They're having this huge, you know, renovation project with a children's garden. And, you know, when we sat down and we met with some students about the open barn, they were so excited to like hang out at the barn and with each other. We said, you know, do you want to get lawn games? Do you want to play volleyball? Like, we want to pet the llama, you know, so, you know, they have ice cream there, bring a picnic. All students with their ID get in for free with a chaperone. The rest of you have to pay. Sorry, it's school funding. The farm funding comes out of the general fund, so they have to charge because really the general fund money should go to teaching and learning. So that's the reason behind the funding. But the kids are just excited to hang out outside. So that's June 5th. It's on a Saturday, 12 to 4. There'll be some type of arts and craft project. We're still trying to figure out if there's going to be a musical performance or not. So that is kind of the wrap up with health and wellness. Of course, if you have any suggestions about what you'd like to learn about or what you'd like your kids to learn about, shoot us an email. And if you want to partake on our committee, shoot us an email. We'd always love more participation because more brains involved, you know, more people involved, the bigger the impact. Sue, what am I forgetting?
Well, so I wanted to say that really all of the activities that we try to do are trying to help our kids just de-stress. And you heard the seniors, find another outlet, right? You don't know what you're gonna like or what's gonna help you until you try it. And so if you do Monday yogas outside with Updog is awesome. I tell you, I've done it and with my kids, and if your kids have time, really encourage them to do it because it is just so nice laying on a yoga mat under the sun and having people like, you know, saying great things and you get a stretch. So that's Monday. Our last one is next Monday, right? Right after school. And then the other thing is the barn that Angel already covered. The kids have kind of done a couple of after school activities on Tuesday. The last one being the chalk mural contest. And that was super fun. They did a scavenger hunt before. And when you see the kids come out and just run around, you know that they need it, right? They need the interaction. They need just some normalcy. And so that's what we are trying to provide. And so upcoming will be, I think the juniors are trying to have a competition amongst the grades for volleyball and kickball. And so they're planning that on the week of, I think, June 6th. Is it June 6th? Yeah, June 7th. And it's culminating on June 11th for the picnic, where we're gonna have mini Olympics. So all these are great ways for kids to get outside and just run around.
All right.
Yeah.
Sounds exciting. That's so fun. What a wonderful deal. Thank you for setting that up. I'm moving through because I know we've already gone over an hour. Let's see, brain breaks. Shirley, are you around?
I don't know if she's around, but I can kind of give a quick update.
Yeah.
The COVID standards were no food was to be brought from the outside. I think that we were working on, could we work with a cafeteria person or has COVID restrictions changed? So I'll try to follow up with Shirley on that.
Super. Olympics. The Olympics are back.
Yay! I'm Carol Hart. I have been involved with the Olympics for the last 8 years, except for this year because we couldn't have them. Chris may have some ideas or thoughts about what it's going to be like in the fall. He did put in the date is already set for October. I'm graduating. Both my first son graduated from college last week, and now he's made dinner for us. So I can't wait to go eat my dinner that my son made me. And then my younger son is graduating from IA next month. So Afro Blend helped out 2 years ago with the Olympics, but her son is going to be a senior next year. So we really could use another hand or two, especially of a younger child to get involved. I've got all kinds of great timelines and everything to help you with the Olympics, and the teachers do the heavy lifting. And what PTIA does is organize the volunteers parent volunteers who are there for all the events. And we also organize a dinner. Of course, I don't know what it'll be like next fall as far as how those things will go. And I'm sure it'll be adjusted as needed. But I've got, someone, if you want to step in and help out Afro next fall with this, I'm happy to be a consultant in any way. But it's a great event, and I hope that it was the biggest loss for me from this last year that we couldn't do it because my son's senior class never got to win the Olympics. But it's a great way for parents to get involved. You really get an understanding of what the school is like, and it's a great, unifying event for all the classes, all the kids, especially those freshmen coming in. They're all wide-eyed and they don't know what to expect, and then they can see the day and a half unfold, and they are really psyched about it. So I think it's one of the greatest things to do at IA, next to the music program that I'm also involved with. But so if you're interested, I've got my email.
Uh-oh, we lost you. You muted yourself.
Sorry, there's my email. Like I said, happy to help out in any way. And I've got, information I could pass along to make it all run smoothly. So, okay. Thank you, Madonna. Great to have you on board. Anybody else, please? I am going to be meeting with Afro, not this week, but the next week at school. So if you're interested and want to know more, maybe we could just set up a small meeting, outside at school before pickup in the afternoon. And if you have any questions or anything. And absolutely, Janet's right. Even if you can't help, or if you can't be a volunteer on that day, do come and watch because it's really just a great, really fun event. And
it is.
I just got served a cocktail. Life is good.
It's not Friday yet.
Hey, Carol, will you please, any information that you have, we're starting to get a little bit more organized, thanks to Steve. And he can put everything on a Google Drive.
That's already was my plan. I've got everything in Microsoft, but
because you're the queen of Olympics, and when you leave, we are so lost.
No, so I was not going to leave you high and dry. I was definitely going to be taking care of all of that. So
Carol, I'll drop a message to you, but we have a PTIA Okma email address. We've got everything on a Google Drive there. We could give you access, and you could just put it all on there for us, that we have access to it forever.
Right.
That'll be your legacy. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
And I will second the notion that you need to attend one Olympics. I went my son's freshman year. That's how I wound up here. Tells you something. That's how they spot you. But no, I mean, just watching my son be part of what's going on, and she's right, they're doe-eyed and they're wandering around. They don't know what it's about. But then you look at the seniors and you look at the juniors, and you can see there's a twinkle in their eye. They know what's going on. They're full of information, and you're like, oh, we're headed for that, So it's really fun. It's great to watch.
Yeah.
So
then you get out of the way, because those IA kids are competitive. They will eat you alive. Be sure you have staff on your side for grading, because they will eat you alive. Ask my sister.
Okay, we're gonna move really quick. I have a text to read to fill in. I thought, where did that one go? Here we go. SAMP, Senior All Night Party. Fantastic opportunity for all the seniors. Hopefully you've already got your tickets. June 4th and 5th, because it goes overnight, at Lifetime here in Rochester Hills, or Rochester. It's 11 to 3 a.m. with a 10:30 check-in. So everyone knows there's swimming, there's water slides, basketball, volleyball, tennis, a rock climbing wall. I'm in. I love rock climbing. I haven't done it in years. We have a DJ that will have a separate room for karaoke. Great. You don't want to hear me sing. Ice cream cart. We are raffling off items for the dorms, such as a TV, a microwave, a coffee maker. That's a must-have. Bike, refrigerator, 25, a 50, and a $100 gift card. They have lots of food. Chaperones will be there, 17 of them watching the kids. And there's lots of fun. So, I mean, that sounds like a great time. Anything that you need to know about that, I believe that's on the PTIA website, which you can find the link to in the chat. So there's that. Any questions? Great, moving on. Open barn, I think, did we cover the open barn? You got that one, right?
Yeah, I mean, check our website and our PTI Facebook page. The flyer's up. It'll go out in the newsletter. Any questions, send us an email.
Yeah, yep. So we talked about the wish list. The link is in there. People have sponsored away for picnic tables and bulletin boards. DRSA is coming up. They have a May 20th, that's tomorrow at 4:30 Zoom meeting. And that link is in the flyer that's posted right there in the chat. Please grab it while you can.
Can I speak to that for a minute, Steve?
Yeah, please.
Dismantling Racism Students Association, they've been working very diligently and very hard. This is a group, it's a tri-campus effort of all the students and administrators. They've really done some amazing things. I know that all of our kids are brilliant and gorgeous, of course, but when you rally these kids together and you sit down and listen to what they have to say, I think I was unfortunate. I didn't get to hear the senior panel, but they're amazing. They are being very proactive about how they want to address racism in their school community. And really, I'm asking you all personally, and as a PTIA rep, please consider attending. Listen to what they have to say. They want to talk about their mission statement. They have a couple of exercises. I don't think it's going to be long. These kids deserve it. They've worked really hard to have a voice. They've advocated for themselves. So please consider attending tomorrow at 4:30. Flyers being passed around. Zoom link is attached. Again, tri-campus effort. It's for the community as well. So even if you don't have a child here, you can share it with other family members and friends as well. Let's help support our kids. Thanks for your consideration.
Perfect. Thank you, Angel. Moving forward, I've got PTOC announcements. There's a multicultural event coming up on May 27th. That's the Legacy Courtyard. And they have a book fair. I've included the book fair flyer and the multicultural event flyer in the chat. So hopefully if you pulled that up and you want to attend, you know how. There's a welcome back event coming August 27th. More details. Do we have more details on that, Angel? What else do we know about that?
Yeah. Let me kind of speak to the multicultural event. It's on the 27th. We do have a flyer that's being passed around. Claudia Janik is our IA librarian, and all librarians in the district made a wish list. There is a diverse, there's like one guy in the state of Michigan who sells diverse books. He'll be there. So we went around and we asked the librarians, what's your wish list on the books that he'll be bringing? So all the librarians have a wish list. Click on the link and then you could show up and attend or buy some books for your librarian and your family on the 27th. The PTOC Welcome Back event, you're more than welcome to join that committee. That is a district event, IA, Wing Lake, everyone's included. The next meeting will be the 24th at 10 a.m. The purpose of this meeting is the same thing for the open barn. How do we reentry? You know, we're really hoping that our kids are going to follow suit with some of the community leaders and that are going to partake. It's kind of a y'all come mentality right now. We do have in Oakland County, she's actually hired by the district, COVID nurse to make sure that safety precautions are in place. How do we serve food? Does there need to be spacing? So all of the safety measures she'll handle and take care of and kind of tell us how to do it. We just have to worry about having a little bit of fun. So it's been a really rough stretch. It'd be great to get everyone together. There's talk about the robotics teams being there, science Olympiads. I think IA is going to have an IB booth there about how we're different from everybody else in the district and kind of how we shine a little bit. But it'll be a community event. Township will be there, fire truck spraying the hose. So keep that on your agenda and please show up to plan. The other thing is volunteer recognition. We have 3 senior parents this year, Yangzi, Dawn, and Carol Hart. These women are diehards. They're all senior parents. They have been so committed and so devoted to our PTIA community. We don't know what we do without them. So we're going to have a big old luncheon on Friday, and we're going to have a big awards assembly via Zoom for these women. And I just cannot thank you enough for making our IA community so much better. Other PTIC, there's a legislative announcement. I did want to address the PTOC Council has a legislative chair. There's several important things that demand our attention. Based on the census, Michigan will lose 1 congressional seat. They're holding hearings across the state, 5 of which are in Southeast Michigan, June 3rd and June 17th. The closest one to us will be at the Marriott in Pontiac on June 10th. Please attend and speak up. The current House of Representatives wants to reduce to only 2 elections, down from 3. That is the legislative update. I do believe that is all the PTOC updates.
PTOC updates complete. And now we come to the main event, the election for the new board of your PTIA. I feel like we need an announcer for like the WWF in here. The elect, that's all right. There's no contested seats in this particular situation. So the new incoming board will include Katya Fisher, Laura Dobrzinski for treasurer, Katya Fisher for co-president, my co-president, Katya, and Usha Singh as secretary. These will be new members of our board. Do we need to take a vote to vote them in? Is that how this works? Someone tell me. I feel like.
Yes, you do.
Yes,
you have to
I
make a motion
do.
for each person, and then you have to vote.
Thank you, Sue.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Okay, so I need someone to nominate Katya Fisher for co-president.
I nominate Katya for PTIA co-president for next year.
Would somebody like to nominate Laura Dobrzinski as treasurer?
Yes, hell yes. This is Dawn. I wish to nominate Laura as the treasurer for next year.
Sorry, Laura.
Thanks, Don.
So I think what you have to do is you gotta go with the first nomination and then vote it, get a second.
Oh.
And then go on to the next.
I'm off on my, I forget
Robert's
what
rules.
Yeah.
Steve,
Okay.
I will second Katya as co-president.
So she is seconded. Okay, so you've seconded Katya as co-president. So please use the voting buttons in the reactions area for a, well, they don't have a thumbs down. So just hit thumbs up. If you say thumbs down, please feel free to take that position from that person. Anybody? No one has voted down. Fantastic. Okay, now back to you, Dawn. Please try to mitigate your enthusiasm as we vote for Laura. Laura's been nominated. Does someone like to second her nomination for treasurer?
I can't like say it and second it. So,
No.
okay.
No, just
So
one.
I nominate Laura, with enthusiasm.
With enthusiasm. Okay. Everybody who approves Laura as the new treasurer, please use your thumbs up in the reactions. Anyone opposed, please speak up now. You're the new treasurer.
I can second that nomination.
Thank you for seconding. And Usha Singh for secretary. Can I get a first?
I think it's only appropriate that I nominate Usha for secretary.
Thank you, Janet. Would someone like to second that nomination?
That will be me.
Kristen has seconded the nomination. Super. So I'm going to take a vote. Everybody who approves, please give me a thumbs up. Bunches of thumbs ups. Fantastic. Well, that's it. That's our new board. Everybody's approved. Is that official enough, Sue? Thank you. Thank you very much. Well, I appreciate everybody for attending. I hope you all learned a lot. Oh, Dawn, you want to talk about money?
I could care
Yes.
less if we do.
I told you I would
but I think
include
people might want to
you.
know if we actually have money.
Yes. Fine. Okay, everybody. Dawn would like to show us the money.
Show us the money, Dawn.
Hold on here. It's funny. Hi. Sorry, my dog has just now decided that there's a deer. Hey, 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 hey. Okay. Let's see here. Yeah, it's like, what do we need? Volunteers. What else do we need? Money. So let's see here. Are you seeing it?
Yeah.
All righty. So let me just start out here. We're not expecting any more membership dues at this point or any other donations. We have the 59,000 from the International Academy Foundation when they dissolved, and this money is going to large scale items as they talked about previously for the outdoor classroom and other large scale things, and so that's why it's still a bank line sitting there. The passive program income, this is from things like Kroger, Amazon, and Rite Aid, and these are ways to fundraise without actually knowing you're fundraising. So Amazon Smile, the Rite Aid, and the Kroger rewards card or information is on their website. The TBD fundraiser, this is what we are calling the sponsorships, the money that's currently coming in. This money is currently what I have actually seen. I'm still waiting on some checks. The amount of the fundraiser so far is 8,940, but like I said, I'm still waiting on some checks there. The tile project sales, I expect no more of this. And from what I understand, we are no longer doing the tile project for next year, unless somebody has a really good reason why. The senior all night party fundraising right now, for donations. So we have my internet connection is unstable. That's not helpful.
We can still hear you.
Hopefully you're still seeing this.
Yeah.
So I only have access to the donations and ticket sales that have come in from the community pass area. I don't have the ones that are coming in from the checks and cash yet, because they're still reconciling the accounts. According to the website, they say they have $2,410 in donations and 3,060 in ticket sales for 83 kids. So I expect to get their checks in cash so far really soon from that, as soon as it's reconciled. Going down here to Brain Break, C-Day Food Hospitality, not really expecting to have any more spending there. Health and wellness, the yoga that was previously talked about, and I'm sure that Angel will come up with some other things to do before the end of the year in order to drop this money down. Facility expense, I'm expecting more outdoor beautifications, the trees and things. I heard a number before about $3,000 that I'm expecting more of. No more bank fees unless someone bounces something to me. IA Olympics, nothing's going to happen there. Insurance bonds, no more spending there. This miscellaneous expense is where we have currently parked the money that has been expended for the bulletin boards, picnic tables, miscellaneous things, the mannequins. That is the expenses that have come in so far. So we're putting it there before the account is fully reconciled. It's going to be distributed probably amongst facility expenses and probably some other lines in through here. So it won't necessarily send a miscellaneous expense, but just letting you know we're spending it. Teacher appreciation, we have Holly Drimby also talked about the things that they're doing. There was also some money that we expended here for cookbook printing. They wanted to have the three schools wanted to have a cookbook printed with the teacher recipes, and so we paid for the printing for that as well. And Steve and Angel, this amount is only for our expense. This is not for East and West that we were inadvertently charged for, because those have been. The only thing that we're expecting more for teacher grants is we have agreed to pay for some equipment for Miss Lawand for $1,313. That is going to be coming a project expense. I'm expecting a little bit more from this line for the mount of the 2000, I think 19 T, and then for the 2 years, then they're paid to mount on the walls, and so expecting a little bit more. And the rest of the fees coming in from the senior all night party. The expectation is that the senior all night party is a revenue neutral event, so whatever they bring in, they can expend. The board granted them $1,500, recognizing that that their ability to fundraise was rather limited this year. So having said that, and I'm also expecting to spend the senior class gift $4,376 for the blankets that we normally buy. So having said that, we are currently sitting at $83,673, but keep in mind that the outdoor classroom, if we expend that money, with the expenses that I'm expecting to come in for 9,300, and I'm expecting another expenses for 3,000, that will leave us with about 12 grand to start out for next year. So just letting you know. So having said that, this is with my enthusiasm to nominate Laura. This is my last official meeting as your treasurer. It has been, I'm going to say, an 80% honor. We're going to go with 80% here, because 20% has been a real kind of a pain, but 80% has been really great. So I am, happy to have done this for you. If I will still be around, my youngest is a junior, so I'll still be around, probably poking fun from the peanut gallery, but I'll still be around for help with Laura for the transition to this role. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know. Thank you.
Hey, Dawn, thank you so much for all of your years of doing these. I know that it can be tedious at times, but you've done a great job. And I know everybody on the board always had great things to say about you. So again, big thanks to Dawn for keeping the books in order for us, and
Certainly.
looking forward to working with Laura in the future.
So I know that we're running late, but I really just want to take a minute because it's Dawn's last time, and I'd like to read it for Carol and Yangzi as well.
Oh, yeah.
I know many of you aren't going to be able to attend the PTOC council. So I wanted to say Dawn is one of the backbones of the PTIA. Dawn has been our treasurer for the past 4 years. Dawn was sorry, I can't read this because of my view. How do I get out of here? Someone read it for me.
Dawn was one of our members and that worked diligently to clean up the paperwork from the old PTIA so we could become a 501c3. So now we're a not-for-profit. That was not an easy task. It took many volunteer hours. Without a doubt, Dawn succeeded. Thanks to her, we are an official 501c3. Dawn loves to tell us no, loves to keep us on track with our budget, and is a total accounting nerd. But this is something that our board desperately needs. And we are thankful for her direct approach to us. Dawn likes to growl and snarl at us, but we called BS a long time ago. Dawn will be the first one in the group to advocate for student and staff needs. She will rattle her brain and try to figure out a win-win situation so all needs are met. Dawn is one of our all-time favorite people to pick on in a group. I'm expecting that hug, by the way, Dawn. And she is very tactile. She loves to share intimate stories about herself and has won Best Hugger Award from all the executive board members. Be sure to give her a big hug the next time you see her. Angel's words, not mine.
If you come near me, no.
Dawn is not a hugger. She threatened to hug me once for something I helped out with, and I hold that. It's a credit. She is an awesome treasurer and a dedicated mother, a really great friend. Thank you, Dawn, for all of your hard work and dedication. We've all learned so much from you, and we appreciate you so much.
We love you, Dawn. We love you,
Thank
Dawn. You. Let's read Carol's real quick. Is Yangzi here? I think Yangzi couldn't come. Let's read Carol so then we can read.
Yeah, you got it. Or you want me to do it?
You do it. I can't see.
Carol Hart is the Olympics queen. She's been in charge of the IA Olympics, which is like field day for most other high schools, for longer than any of us can remember. I've only been here 2 years now. She runs the event like a champ and makes it seem effortless, which is amazing since the Olympic events run for the entire week, organizing all the students and volunteers into a smooth symphony while never breaking a sweat is her claim to fame. Speaking of symphony, after Carol's first child went through the IA music program, she became infatuated enough with music to pursue it as a college major. Carol decided she would get more involved as her second child entered the school. She certainly jumped right in, becoming the music booster president. Carol ran meetings, set agendas, and took on committee tasks, always with the clear mission of supporting the music students and supporting the music staff. She's been hands-on with so many of our necessary tasks as a music department, from running uniform night to finding the right e-commerce platform. Carol has brought energy, positivity, insight, and often a delicious baked good. I love baked goods to the meetings. Because of all these contributions, Carol Hart is IA's Volunteer of the Year. Her leadership, service, and friendship are so deeply valued and will be missed going forward, but we will wish her the deepest congratulations in her final graduation from the IA.
We're gonna miss you, Carol. We love you, Carol. Thank you everything that you've done. You always go above and beyond. Could you read Yangtze's?
Yeah, let's see. I can do Yangtze too. Yangtze, oh, put back on Yangtze. Yangtze has been an active volunteer in the PTIA for the past 4 years. She's done an outstanding job as our communications chair. Yangtze's weekly email reminders to submit items for the newsletter are like clockwork. She never misses a beat. When you give her something for the newspaper 2 hours before it goes out, she doesn't even get mad at you. That happens. There is always a very safe and not judgmental, do not worry, Angel, I will do it. She is one of our most reliable and consistent members. Her ability to remain calm is admired by many. Her kindness is abundant, and she has a pretty cheeky giggle to top it all off. Yangtze, you will be missed by all of us. We thank you for your many years of love and support you have shown towards our school community.
Aw.
Aw, well done.
Our senior parents, I tell you, it's such an honor to see the students graduate, but I'm not gonna lie, my heart is so heavy to see you go. Please know that you are loved and supported in every way you move forward, and we will stalk you. That's the one advantage of Sue doing the directory. With all that said, thank you all. This has been a heck of a year. Everyone has really put their back into it. We've cared, we've been patient, we've tolerated each other. We've learned, we've grown. I'm really looking forward to next year. You guys are in great hands, and thank you. Have a great summer, and we'll see you next year.
August, hooray.
August 27th, welcome back event. Be there or be square.
Thanks, Angel.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.